Namaste. I think it's time to give a little lesson in the art of crowd hypnosis. Okay? So there are ways, there are means in order to hypnotize a large body of people. Okay? So I'm going to give you the ways and means that it's done. Okay? What they do. Okay? And how they do it. Okay? In crowd hypnosis, what they do is they'll use expectations, okay, language, storytelling, future pacing, which means they'll implant ideas for their listeners to act upon in the future. This is all hypnotic, okay? Hypnotic speakers don't just give the facts, they will give their listeners an experience that will change the way they think, feel, or behave. Just as in group think. How do people get to group think? Crowd hypnosis is one way, okay? The best hypnotic inductions have a kind of trance rhythm to them, which draws you in and makes you forget anything other than the speech. One person that was good at this is Winston Churchill. If you listen to him on YouTube, you'll kind of get an idea of how that works, okay? He uses repetition, emotive words. He paints a picture of a positive future beyond the current hard times. He connects with what is important to his listeners. Does this sound familiar? He evokes strong images. And like the language of storytelling or even epic myth, he talks about avoiding the oncoming dark age by fierce, proud, brave, and collective struggle. Okay. That was what Churchill did. Okay. But one can use really anything as a way to instruct, as a way to implant, as a way to move forward the thinking into a hypnosis. And how is this done? How does one get somebody to accept what they're saying? Okay. Because what they do is they use confusing language. Doublespeak. I've talked about this before, the art of doublespeak. Language that's confusing. It's a favorite hypnotic technique too, as it ties up the conscious mind and appeals more directly to the unconscious, which absorbs it before the conscious mind has a chance to untangle it. Okay, let me say this again. This is very, very important. They will use confusing language because it appeals more directly to the unconscious mind, which will absorb it and accept it as truth before the conscious mind has a chance to understand what is being said. This is a way to implant through hypnosis to a large crowd of people. Let me give you some other techniques. One of it is to put a lot of speech in with words that appeal to your feelings, things that are going to really catch those feelings, okay? Words that people have to go inwards to connect their personal meaning with are called nominalizations, and they are hypnotic in nature. These words are like powerful, beautiful, love, wisdom, strength, such as You're little gods. You're all gods. You're all powerful. You can all manifest. Okay? And so on. Make sure these kinds of words fit with what you're saying, but they'll produce more of a response other than concrete type words, okay? So the next thing that you do is you paint pictures in your listeners' minds by overlapping their senses. So what does this mean? Well, when they hypnotize someone, they're seeking to give them a dream-like experience. And of course, we dream in pictures, but also sounds, sensations, tastes, emotions. So when they're talking, they want to give a lot of very colorful stories, okay? You tell stories. If you're delivering a speech about molecular biology, there are stories to be told. Tell them engrossingly, okay? In other words, you want to capture their attention. The more profound the story, the more involved it is, the more they will be taken in by it, okay? Let's go forward. They use their voice to fascinate. Sometimes they speed up, sometimes they slow down a bit, not all the time, or else they'll start to annoy. But they think about the importance and relevance of the words. When it's a point that they feel's important, they slow down a bit, and occasionally they can even talk the calm, slow delivery of a real hypnotist. Such as, you know, we've heard hypnotists and what they will say, your eyes are getting sleepy, okay? You're relaxing. You're going deeper into consciousness. It will be very metered, very slow, very sustained, okay? But not, if you're not hearing that, doesn't mean you're not being hypnotized, because the last is very, very extremely effective, and one that I see being used through an ashram, which I guess we can all guess which one I'm talking about. They use unexpectedness. They go into hypnotic trance when they relax, but also when you're startled, surprised, or even shocked. You wonder why something's repeated over and over and over again, and then you get to a point and the drums are beat. You get that loud shock to the system. Okay, it's a hypnosis technique. Okay, so let me say this one time. We go into hypnotic trance when we relax, but also when we're startled, surprised, or even shocked. This is a very well-known hypnotic technique. If somebody's standing, you throw them off balance, you can implant something before they know what's happened. Very well-known hypnotic technique. So practiced users of hypnosis will use also humor because it can be hypnotic. Well, what's hypnotic about humor? Because humor surprises you. A punchline, it has a punch. It causes surprise. So hypnotists will often use a little shock to fast-track subjects into a hypnotic trance. So they keep trying to be a little surprising here and there to keep their audience focused, then refocused. And these techniques are startlingly powerful. Okay, these are just some of the techniques that I see when I watch Nityananda talking to people. Oh, but he's so, he does such great stories. He uses humor. He's this, he's that. I watch him speaking. Very metered. The speech is very metered. All of the things that he is using are hypnosis techniques to create mind think, to create group think. Okay? Yes, I know Nietzsche and other people are not going to want to hear this at all, but it's the truth of the situation. Okay? All these things which you find so fascinating are ways to create a hypnosis, a way to bypass conscious mind, to go into unconscious mind, to change you radically in the way that you are thinking, but not always in a beneficial way. Okay? Again, I watched a video the other day on a guy that had been there, said before he came he was an atheist, glassy-eyed. Oh, I only need 1 hour's sleep now. Everything he was talking was groupthink. It was so babbling so much they had to cut the video 28 times in order to piece it together where he made some sense. Okay? So, again, I'm here to try to shed some light on what is happening, why it happens, how it happens. Okay? Yes, I know you all love the show, but the show is there as a way of doing group crowd hypnosis. Okay? He's good at what he does. Okay? I'll give him that benefit. He's very good at doing groupthink, crowd hypnosis. Okay? Does a very good job at it. But again, I don't think people bought into the fact that they wanted to go there to be hypnotized into groupthink. Okay? Doesn't mean you still don't have a sense of will. Okay? You can still, if your mind is not accepting of it, you can still overcome that. Okay? But for those that are not as strong-willed, can be easily taken in by this and can be very accepting of the drama that's being said, that's being implanted. And for those ones, it's going to take time to become dehypnotized, to get out of the group think if they leave that type of an organization. Okay, so I wanted to share that. What is groupthink? How does it happen? Part of it is when people know how to do crowd hypnosis. And those are some of the techniques they use to do it. Okay, thank you. Namaste. Have a great evening.